know that time can heal it all. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through. Cause I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. Sometimes I feel like all is lost, but I know it's not true. I wanna put up all my walls cause I'm not in the mood, but then I cut myself off from the rest of the room. I know that time can heal it all if you're patient and soon. It can all be worth it, all the searching. Pain is never really permanent, but damn it hurts, man. I could feel all of the turbulence and it's concerning. I've been searching for a purpose, I hope it's worth it. This society is really trying me. Ain't no hide and seek, I hide to be far from anxiety. I need my space, I need my privacy. From the rest of the room, I know that time can heal it all if you're patient and soon. It can all be worth it, all the searching. Pain is never really permanent, but damn it hurts, man. I could feel all of the turbulence and it's concerning. I've been searching for a purpose, I hope it's worth it. This society is really trying me. Ain't no hide and seek, I hide to be far from anxiety. I need my space, I need my privacy. I need some silence, please, you're all too loud. You don't speak quietly, opinions violently thrown across every surface. It makes me nervous, it's the world honestly burning. That's all I'm learning, hope that we can make a turn and start reversing. All our minds, we put the work in, we got some work, man. I just gotta get through, gotta get through. I just gotta get through, gotta get through. I can hear the demons call when they do what they do. And now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through. Cause I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through. Gotta get through this, life is a nuisance, tie up some loose ends. I try to be human, find a solution, my evolution. A place like this, it didn't exist, we made it like this. So you can go pick the bad or the good, got a glass half wish. I know, it's easier to hide than just to lay low. Not everyone in life has got a halo. I'm standing in the red inside a payphone, just wanna break, no. I'm not gonna give in. Take a last shot, Michael J. Win. No, I'm not a robot, I'm in my own skin. Never get lost when thoughts pull you in. I miss the old you. We died with a purpose. All the energy around me felt nervous. Scared I would pop off fast to the surface. Had to cut it off before you made me worthless. Torn apart, I've been corner scarred. I had a given art, but now I'm thinking smart. I'm keeping up my guard. I'm hiding every card. A royal flush of left. You never know what's hard. With a back to the mat, gonna see where I'm at. I'ma fight like I'm mad. I'm a piece of it that they can never be me. Nice try, but they'll see I achieve everything while they stay salty. I'm starting to grow, trying to throw. I'm starting to grow, trying to throw. I can hear the demons call when they do what they do. And now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through. Cause I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through.
Peace, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Truth Tuesday Show with your host, Akeem L, here on Hindsight Radio, the information station changing the nation. I hope everybody's doing good. I myself, I'm doing great. It's been, it's everything's good, man. All the challenges I meet, just good ones. Just it just wait. Whenever I meet a new challenge, sometimes I'm shocked at first, and and but then I realize what it's for. It's for my growth. It's for my benefit. Every challenge that I meet is for me to grow in. Every challenge that you meet is for you to grow in. So I hope the challenges you're meeting or you're confronting, you gonna be able to see that it's for your benefit. And it could be a terrible situation, and it could be you could be breaking up a relationship, a marriage, could be having trouble with your children, could be getting fired from the job. It could be a lot of things, but they all end up for your benefit. Because I got fired from a job. I got fired from a job years ago. I had 2 boys and 1 on the way, pregnant wife, and I got fired. And when I first got fired, I was like, what the hell am I going to do? I'm going to take kids. She can't work because they put her on bed rest. So that means our income had ceased and desist, meaning there was nothing coming in from the point of when I got fired. And the short-term disability that she had was taking a long time, and they had all these rules you had to follow. So for weeks, there was no money coming in. But if I had never got fired, I would not be here talking to you now. Getting fired was what made me go into business for myself. I ended up learning how to cut hair. And I've told the story before. And it took me into many things that led me to this moment right now. All of those things that happened to me, all of those things that I thought was bad. And they were traumatizing. Imagine facing bills like rent, light, food, and you have small children to take care of and a wife at the same time. Just imagine as a man with all of the the responsibilities, if you're responsible, and how you feel when you cannot take care of your family. I know what that feeling is like. And this is why I preach prosperity now. This is why I talk the way I do now, because I refuse to go back to that. That is no longer an option. The only reason why that was an option for me then, because I had a broke mentality. I was expecting to lose the job. I was expecting to not make enough money. I had those visions in mind. What if I lose your job? How am I going to take care of the family? What if I do this? What if this happened? What if I kept coming up with all these scenarios, and then one day that scenario manifested itself. That's how come it's powerful. Your words are power. Your words, your thoughts will determine the outcome of your situation. There is no getting around it. The scripture said, God is not to be mocked. You will reap what you sow. If you have bad thoughts, you will reap. If you're gonna reap that. You're gonna get that. And if you're having a bad situation right now, no matter what it is, that's your reaping. Somewhere you sowed a seed that brought that to you. No, Akeem, that's impossible. It's their fault. It's that fault. It's that thing fault. No. Uh-uh. You don't get off that easy. If you're trying to elevate, if you're trying to go to this higher level, you can't let yourself that off that easy by making someone else to blame for your issues. You can't do it. If you call yourself a man, you call yourself a woman, you call yourself a high value man or a high value woman, you're a queen, you're a king, you're a god, goddess, whatever you want to call yourself. You can't let yourself off that easy. Because even according to the Bible, God Almighty recognized his mistakes. He did. I've been talking for a while. I hope y'all could hear me. I think y'all can because no one has said they can't hear me. If just to confirm, because I'm about to go into this lesson and I don't want y'all to miss nothing. And the phones lines are open 563-999-3615. Call in. This is Q&A on the 1099s. We'll get to that part. But if someone could just send me a confirmation that they can hear me. Oh, 5x5. Somebody said 5x5. I don't know what that means. I'm not up on those terms. Oh, Karini, happy to see you back. How was your trip to Israel, your homeland, your ancestral land? How was that? They said they could hear me great. Thank you. Thank you. I could move on. See, even the God Almighty, the creator of all things, realized that he had made a mistake and he had to fix it. He had to get rid of some negativity. Then he also passed on a big idea to someone he showed favor to. And I'm going to read that. Karina was amazing. Good, Corinne. Glad you had a good time. And we're glad to have you back. I would love to visit Israel one day. Well, let's go into this. Let's go into Genesis chapter 6. Let's go to Genesis chapter 6. Y'all know what I'm about to read, right? Now, it's a lot you could take from this scripture, and but I'm gonna hold on one fact, one thing. Chrome tab. Where are you? It won't let. Oh, there it is. All right, share. Y'all should see that right there. Right, Genesis chapter 6. It says, let's make that a little bigger. It says, when beings began to increase in number on the earth, and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of the humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. Then the Lord said, My spirit will not contend with humans forever, for they are mortal. Their days will be 120 years. There's a lot right here to talk about right here, but the point of the lesson is not to go into that right now. I want to go into this correction that God did in order to get rid of this mindset. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also after, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them, they were the heroes of old, men of renown. The Lord saw how great the wickedness of human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of human heart was only evil all the time. The Lord regretted that he had made human beings on the earth, and his heart was deeply troubled. Now, which is interesting about this scripture is that, before I get into what I was going to talk about, I'm a little bit like I'm like Reverend Ike. I never let my subject interfere with what I have to say. So I want to talk about this. It's interesting that he looked at the human beings that he created as the problem, when his own sons came down and created another problem, created a situation. But that's, what is that? The father shows favoritism to his children. But there's a deeper understanding of that. I know the church preached it a certain way, and they got you thinking about these sons of gods as these benevolent beings. That's a whole nother subject for another time. But let me stay here where I'm going. The Lord regretted that he had made human beings on the earth, and his heart was deeply troubled. What is this saying in a metaphysical form? What is this saying? That God had regretted a negative idea. He had created humans, and he said they were evil. So that means they had negative inclinations. Their thinking was negative. But on a bigger understanding, the mindset of man was negative for the most part. This sounds like what we're dealing with right now. The mindset of the world is negative for the most part. The mindset of the world, as soon as you come up with a good idea, they're going to shoot it down. Absolutely. They're going to shoot it down. So the Lord said, I will wipe from the face of the earth the human race I have created, and with them the animals, the birds, the creatures that move along the ground, for I regret that I have made them. So God is basically saying that his idea, he's going to get rid of his negative idea. He's going to erase it. He's taking responsibility for his actions right now. Are you taking responsibilities for the things that you are having, that you created in your life right now? He took total responsibility. Everything that was going on, he said, it's my fault. So if God, according to the Bible, can do it, how come you can't do it? Brothers, if God can do this, see, your pastor is not going to preach this to you, sisters. They're going to pat you on the hand. They're going to say, oh, it's okay. It's because, your mama didn't raise you right. You didn't get love from your father. And this is why you are this way. They're gonna pass the buck. The preacher's gonna pass the buck on, instead of telling you to take responsibility for your grown situations. Despite how you was raised, despite what happened, because you can't do anything about what happened. If you're looking at a situation and it's not coming out right and you don't like it, you have to take responsibility and say, just like God had just said, hey, I regret that I made all of these things. I created these bad situations. So I am deeply troubled. So I will get rid of it. I will wipe it out of my mind and create a new mind, a Christ mind. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. So with all of this negativity going on, God found one positive idea, one person who found favor. And he Capitalize on that one instead of the many negatives. So this is the account of Noah and his family. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time, and he walked faithfully with God. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So they said Noah was a righteous man. So that means Noah at that time was thinking positive. He always kept his mind in the higher consciousness of God. Hold on, y'all. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, sorry, y'all. I got these new puppies. They making all this noise around here. But anyway, so Noah had positive thinking. That's why the higher consciousness, which we call God, saw favor in him. And he will reward him. He will make a covenant with him. Now, the earth was corrupt in God's sight and was full of violence. And God saw, aka, it was full of violence and negativity. God saw how corrupt the earth had become, for all the people on earth had corrupted their ways. So God said to Noah, I am going to put an end to all people, for the earth is filled with violence because of them. I am surely going to destroy both them and the earth. So God is saying, I'm getting rid of all of this negativity. I created it, I'm getting rid of it. And on a metaphysical, esoterical level, it's the same situation with you and me. So make yourself an ark of cypress wood, make rooms in it, and coat it with pitch in, with pitch inside and out. Then this is how you are to build it. And then the high see what's happening here? The higher consciousness of God is given the great idea, the big idea. How to create a situation that they can come out of all of this negative atmosphere. This is how you're going to build it. The ark is to be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, 30 cubits high. Make a roof for it, leaving below the roof an opening 1 cubit high all around. Put a door in the side of the ark and make lower, middle, and upper decks. I'm going to bring flood waters on the earth to destroy all life under the heavens, every creature that has the breath of life in it. Everything on earth will perish, but I will establish my covenant with you, and you will enter the ark, and your sons and your wife and your sons' wives with you. You are to bring into the ark 2 of all living creatures, male and female, to keep them alive with you. 2 of every kind of bird, every kind of animal, and of every kind of creature that moves along the ground will come to you to be kept alive. You are to take every kind of food that is to be eaten and store it away as food for you and for them. Now, God said he's getting rid of it, getting rid of all the negativity. You, as being a divine creation of God, let me put my screen back on. You, as being a divine creation of God, have the same capability. You can change a negative situation simply by stating, I take responsibility for this, but at this point going forward, I'm going to correct it. I'm going to change it. I'm going to make it better. I'm going to make it favorable for me. Now, on a side note, you notice that God told him to take all of these creatures 2 by 2 and into this huge ark, and he gave them the dimensions on how to create this. Now, from a physical point of on a physical, more scientific level, is that really possible that that can happen that way? That 2 of each animal went into this ark? based on all of the species of animals that we have right now roaming the earth? You think that's possible? Well, I'll tell you what I believe. Let me, as I sip on my spirit opener. What basically happened here? And they try to make this thing prehistoric, meaning non-technology with no technology. Y'all do realize that the technology you have, the phones you use, is old technology, it's ancient technology, it's actually primitive technology. Back then, they had far more superior technology. So simply what you had was what they were calling an ark. They just had the DNA structures, sequences of all of the creatures. That's all he stored. That's what he was storing in these rooms. This wasn't the physical animals coming onto an ark. This was technology. Yes. Now I could go a little deeper, but I'm not. I just wanted to throw that out there. This was technology. Because if you go back to the beginning, when I started reading, it said the sons of God came from heaven. Where did they come from? They had to look like us in order to be able to reproduce, right? Have the same physical structures as us, the same abilities to reproduce with the women of the planet. I'll save that for a private lesson. This is this what we call Earth, the knowledge that we have here on Earth, or what we call Earth, which it wasn't called Earth at one point. It was part of it was a bigger planet, twice the size as we know now. The knowledge we have is so primitive. When you start to really understand what really happened, it'll all make sense. That's why they keep you in the dark about um what really happened. They make shows like Ancient Aliens and put these fake scientists and fake archaeologists on who talk to you from a perspective like they know exactly what happened, and they always seem to blame these structures that they find around the world on some out of this world being that came here and did this. It couldn't have been the people that lived there, because coincidentally, the people that live where all of these famous structures are being found are dark skinned people. Everywhere they finding these things, they're all. It seemed like these aliens favored people of dark skin. Why? It's a simple answer to that. No, because these what they're calling aliens was your ancestors who were highly advanced. They showed you that in the movie Black Panther. How did you think the uh the Haitians were able to win with such a small? They said voodoo. But what is voodoo? Spiritual Adam. They use a high science spiritual technique to beat those soldiers at that time. Yes, it was spirituality mixed with science. They don't want to tell you about that. So that's why they try to say voodoo is demonic. We knew how to manipulate the elements. We knew how to use sounds to cause disruption. It's in the Bible. Remember, there was a scripture where they had to march around this city 7 times and then blow these trumpets, and it scared the shit out of all of those enemy soldiers. That was sound manipulation. Their technology is all throughout this Bible, y'all. It's all throughout this Bible. And one of the greatest technologies Or greatest one of the greatest uh, technologies, I would say technology. It's a business technology. It's the covenant. He said, "I will establish a covenant with you, and you will enter the ark." That's a trust. He created a trust. Okay, you entrusted to do this. Boom, 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 boom. So that after I wipe all of these negative ideas out, we could bring about and start anew. And from that, so many more people, descendants came from that one trust. That's why it's important for you guys to create your trust and get it together. That's why it's important because your ancestors wrote these rules and these laws. And if you really pay attention, remember, I read something last week that the natural man cannot discern spiritual things. It sounds like foolishness to him. Like some people, what I just said, it sounded like foolishness to them when I said that they use DNA mapping in order to preserve all of the creatures that are on the planet. It wasn't the physical animals or creatures. That's why these shows like Ancient Aliens and all of them are always trying to find Noah's Ark and claim they found it, I think, one time. But it's still, when you watch the show, they don't give you any definite. It could be Noah's Ark. It could be this. It could be that. They always leave you second guessing. They had technology. He gave them the specific science and know how to build this ark, which was a supercomputer database, along with the tubes, the specimens to hold it. Think about it. If I'm telling you that the technology that we have today is prehistoric and they're holding stuff in test tubes, they're able to make a baby with a test tube, just imagine what they had then. I mean, just look at the concept of, let's go back to the concept of Adam and Eve, right? They're supposed to be perfect, right? In every way, right? And they talk about evolution. So the further away we go, get away from the perfection of man, we devolve. We're not evolving, we devolving. That's why you look around, things a mess. But what happens? We go to one spectrum, then we come back. Don't let me get you talking about the suns and how the sun and the lights, we get pure energy, pure light from the sun, how everything starts to flourish and everything starts to get bigger. The oxygen and it becomes more enriched. I think we get about 18% oxygen now. If we were just to bump that up to the 30 something percent, we will be giants. And it was that way back then. They just told you, the Nephilim. Now they've already proven that if you give something more enriched oxygen and give it pure light and block out all of the harmful lights, not so much harmful, but the certain lights, that you can take what is those little tomatoes? Those little small ones, cherry tomatoes. They could be the size of golf balls. They could be bigger than they are, just by doing certain things to them. But because we're not getting pure oxygen, pure sunlight, we are in a dwarf state. But that's changing. Look at the next generation of children. They're all bigger than their parents. That's changing. That's why they're worried about global warming. That's why global warming is just this distraction, because the energy of the planet is changing. The giants are coming. You'll start to see these giants. You'll start to see higher mental capabilities. You'll see it. And you're already seeing it. But back to what I was saying. God gave Noah a big idea, a big plan. God gave you a big idea, a big plan. Are you following that plan? Are you following the dimensions? Because he gave him dimensions, how to do it, what to do, when to do it. You guys got ideas. You've been given it. You've been given the plan. Everybody gets talked to by the higher mind, the divine mind, to fulfill a plan. This is how we make the world go around because everybody's got a plan. Why we're suffering? Why do we have issues? Because everybody, most people are not operating in the plan that they've been given. We all are one unit, and all of us are given a divine plan. Some of us is working in it and some of us are not. But if we all worked in our divine plan as one, doing the function that we've been given, chosen to do, what do you think the world would be like? You wouldn't be struggling. We wouldn't have food shortages, job shortage. We wouldn't have all of these issues. But because we're working in the natural man's plan, we're working jobs. We're trying to get education to go work the natural man's plantation. His idea, his big idea, not the divine idea, not the idea that God gave you from the day you was conceived. And the truth be told, the idea you gave yourself, because you and God are one. God works in you. You are God. God is working through you. See, you know when you're working into your divine plan that you created for yourself with the divine mind, because you get nothing but fulfillment and happiness out of it. You never get thirsty. You never get hungry because it's totally fulfilling. You see? You never. So if you got a divine idea, you got a divine plan that you know you've been putting off. And I know a lot of you come to me and say, man, I'm going to do this year. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then you allow what? The negative ideas to come down and disrupt. That's what happened with the sons of God. Those negative ideas came down and caused disruption, interfered with the natural flowing divinity of the people, and they started to create negative ideas. And then it became a collective. Then every one person got it, then it became a disease. That's the real pandemic. That's the real uh issue. It's not some virus. It's the negative, hateful, evil thoughts that people have. That's the real problem. That's how come we have all of the issues now. But I told y'all before, a couple of years ago, when all this went down, that hey, you all didn't want to go to work anyway. That's why they shut everything down. The collective minds was tired of it. Y'all was fed up. Y'all wanted a break, and y'all got one. And then when y'all got a break, when the divine mind allowed the natural man structure to shut it all down, some of y'all didn't take advantage of that opportunity. Once you sat home for a few years, I want to get back to work. I want to get back to being a slave. Got started complaining. But then it was some that took advantage of it and they ain't looking back. All of that's in their rearview mirror. Job is in the rearview mirror. And I commend those that did that. But some of y'all had perfect opportunities. God came down and gave y'all the plan and gave y'all ideas. And because you met with some opposition, you went back to the boss. You went back to the natural man's idea. You went back there. Hey, you only getting what you asked for. You only get what you deserve. You didn't deserve the big idea because you refused to stay in it and trust it. Am I stepping on some toes? I hope so. Because maybe you that I step on it so much, you want to do something about it. You want to prove me wrong. You want to say, I'm tired of hearing Akeem tell me about this idea I know I had. I know he talking to me. I got to prove this man wrong. And that's what I want. I want you to prove me wrong. Make me a liar by going out there and being successful with your business ideas or whatever idea it is. Shut me up. Stop me. But I see every week I could talk about this because I know. I know how it is. And the reason why I know because I live it. I go through the same issues of wanting, oh man, it'd be so much easier if I did this, I did that. Go into somebody's idea of success instead of mine. And if it wasn't for me doing these shows and keep these shows going, I wouldn't be able to maintain. I got to keep talking about this because this is the big idea that I was given to do. And if I ain't working in that, then nothing else matters. I will fail at everything else. I have to work in this space. This is it. There's no going back. There's no going back to clocking in and clocking out. This is it for me. So what y'all gonna do? You gonna go build that ark? Now remember, when Noah was building this ark, let's see. Let's go to the next. See. I'm trying to now you know when Noah was building that ark, it had never rained before. Never. Never did anything. This big idea had nobody ever done this before or even experienced the rain. Never. So people were probably like, what the hell are you doing? Man, come on, man. You building what? God told you what? You got that from what? See, that's why you got to keep your big ideas to yourself. Because people, man, see Noah, he went and did the job. He didn't allow naysayers. And plus, he couldn't think about it. If he had to build this physically, he had to build this somewhere where nobody could see what he was doing anyway. Because they'd come and vandalize it, tear it down, set him back out of jealousy. Now, if somebody was smart like that, this dude building this, where did he get this idea from? It had to be come from a higher place, something with divine inspiration. And that's just like you. The stuff you got comes from a higher place, from divine inspiration. Nobody can explain it. No one can tell you that it's not right. But what you do is you let these naysayers, these natural mind thinkers, the people coming from a natural place, bring you down from your lofty place, your lofty consciousness, your high consciousness. You allow them to bring you down by listening to what they have to say. Maybe they were right. Maybe I'm doing too much. It ain't never rained. Maybe I was crazy. Maybe I didn't hear God say that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You wake up in the middle of the night, you have this fantastic idea, or you driving down the road, you have this fantastic, and you can see it that it's the right thing to do. And then you start, and the first thing we want to do, we want to preach to people and tell us how, man, I got this great idea, and we let them shut us down. Let me give you a word of advice. When you get great inspiration, do not share it with anybody. Keep it to yourself. Because why? It's your relationship. It's your personal relationship with the divine mind, God. That's your business between you and God. It's no one else's business. So why are you telling it? It's not their business. And they won't understand it anyway because they got a divine idea that they dealing with. And because they're dealing with their divine idea and they may not be working in their divine idea, as soon as you talk about yours, they're going to hate on yours. It's not that's because they just a hater. It's because they know they got big ideas. They got divinity in them. They know listen, deep down inside, although people say this, deep down inside, somewhere there's an inkling in everyone that knows that they are better than what they believe they are. But what keeps them in that space is excuses, victimhood mentality. And then when you bring these types of people those ideas, they want to put you right where they are. Because it's easier. They're just like that one slave with the one talent. They only want to display the one talent. Just do just enough. Well, I didn't waste it, Lord, but I gave you back what you gave me. And that's what you're doing when you leave this physical body. And you have not operated in the divine idea that God gave you. That's what you're doing. You're going to take the one talent, and that talent was your life, and you're going to bury it right back in the ground, and you're going to wait. When that day of reckoning comes, you're going to wait. Here it is. No growth. You're the same as you came into the world as you left. The whole idea is for you to grow. What happens when you conceived in your mother's womb? You grow. Not just on a physical level, you grow on a mental level, a spiritual level. You're supposed to grow. Your spiritual is supposed to outgrow the body. That's what it meant. What happened with Christ? He came into this world to show you that the physical body is limited. And then once you attain a certain level of spirituality, you got to leave the body. That was the example he was showing. Yeah, he showed you by way of haters and who wanted to get rid of that school of thought, showing people, wait a minute, we can't let these people elevate here. We need these people to have a perpetual farm of people to come through our church so that we can keep teaching them the same old lame ideas so that their children can keep coming here and we can make money off of them. That's what the church does. That's what the churches did back then and that's what they're doing now. Creating perpetual slaves to the idea that they're just these wretched beings, that they're slaves, that they don't have the power to create the wealth that they want, to have what they want, when they want it, and how they want it. Only God can come and give it to you. This God in the sky. No, see, according to this scripture that I just read, God came down to Noah and said, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is my plan. And because I show favor in you, this is what I want you to do. So you could pass this on, this great idea, to your children. And they're going to continue to be blessed off this one great idea. Big businesses are doing it all the time. They have this one great idea. Now they create these huge empires of businesses that's going to be passed down to their children. I talked about Sam Walton last week, Jeff Bezos, uh, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, JP Morgan Chase, JP Morgan. With all these guys. These guys, some of these guys are dead and their legacies, they still got banks named after them. Dean Witter, Lehman Brothers. That started as a great idea, a divine inspiration. And y'all want to look at these people as evil. No, I don't see them as evil. What I see is people who had a divine idea, a big idea, and they worked in it. And they created massive wealth for themselves. You could call so see, the poor would call them greedy. The broke minded call those people greedy. But a person who has a prosperity mind say, well, man, thank God for them. Because someone has just made the example, showed the example how I can do that too. See, I don't see envy these people. What I do is I want to know what they did. Because at the end of the day, these big companies do hire people who want to be hired. Because despite I could preach all I want, people are going to still want to go and fill out an application and get a job. There's always going to be room for that. And it's always been that way since the beginning of this history of this country and other empires before it. It's always someone who doesn't know the power that they've been given in this world. See, I'm only speaking to the few, not the many, that resonate or connect to what I'm saying, that is willing to act on it. What does the scripture say? The harvest is great, but the workers are few. Okay? There's only few who's willing to work to harvest the riches and the wealth, not just physical wealth, the spiritual wealth. It's only a few who's willing to put in that work. And it's always been like that. You see? The one thing you are here for is to expand beyond the physical limits of this physical body. See, the reason why people go to the grave stuck is because they think the physical body is all there is. That's just a fraction. Not even a fraction. It is less than it is a small part of your existence. A very, very small part. But it seems so big because this is what you experience. You experience your arms, your legs. And if you lose an eye, you experience that. Oh, I don't have my eye. You're experiencing that. So you focus on that. But if you sit back, when you was in your mother's womb, you were just pure consciousness, totally content, floating around in the what they call the fluids. What's that? Amniotic fluids? I don't know if I'm saying that right? Just you was just pure consciousness, a pure knowing. You see little babies, they look at you like they know. Yes, they know. They have a higher consciousness at that time. They are totally connected. But now that they come into this physical world and they hear the sounds and the manipulation of words, slowly but surely, that bad association of connecting with negative beings disrupt that high consciousness that they're experiencing as a baby or a child. Yes, we ruin children. We messed them up. because we give them this false sense of security. We give them false sense of ideas of what God is and what is out there, what our limits are. We give them limitations instead of telling them that they're limitless. Because before they became consciousness inside that body, that shell, they were bigger. Anyway, it's 8 o'clock, 7:59. Get on your big idea. Get on your divine idea. And let's see who's out there. Corinne is out there. She said, "Happy Tuesday. I'm back." And I said, "Glad to have you back." Peace, prosperity, and extreme health to all. I really should have said peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all. All praise to Yah says greetings. Brian B said hi, peeps. Peace and love, 75816. Um, Kareem said Israel was amazing. C. King Bay said peace, everyone. Peace and love to all. Monday sermon. Monday sermon. Today, Tuesday. I don't know. Maybe you talking about something else. Tuesday, I should say. LOL. Okay, he corrected that. And then DJ OJOJ said he hear the words I'm saying. DJ B Thunder says evening, everyone. Asim Shabazz says peace, family. Peace to all of you. Falcon L 555 greeting Elder Akeem L. One love, chat, tribal nation. Hey, I put the number up there, 563-999-3615. So if you guys want to chat with me, call in. If you have questions, you can call in. I was gonna go a little bit into this 1099, which I will. So open your minds up. See, listen, people, we had the delay because of COVID, and those checks are rolling in now. They coming in. They coming in slowly but surely, paying off. See, y'all can choose to follow all of them YouTube gurus and people out there telling y'all can sign the back of a 1099 and y'all can go walk in there and just get a house without doing the prop skipping. What they're really telling you, skip all these appropriate steps that you need to do and just jump right in and get something. I can walk into a dealership. I mean, I done found 3 different news stations around the country that are talking about, they calling it a scam. So now perception is everything. You walk in there and they saw this news thing and they've been given a warning about people doing it. They're gonna come at you. So y'all can keep watching these videos where these people are telling y'all to walk in here and use the 1099s like a check. They're not checks. 1099s are information statements only, telling you about a transaction. That's all they are. What is a 1099 form? Let's see what that says. Let's see how they come out. The screen. It says the IRS 1099 form is a collection of tax forms documenting different types of payments made by an individual or business that typically isn't your employer. Payer fills out the form with the appropriate details and sends copies to you and IRS reporting payments made during the tax year. It's just a reporting. It's a rat form. It's ratting out whoever got some money from a company. It's telling them, hey, I gave them money. So that the IRS can basically come and say, you need to report this on your taxes. You don't get a check just by submitting one of those. You have to commit a tax. A tax return got to go to it, whether it be a 1040, 1099, 1041. Something has to go with it. It's a process. So just doing a 1099 and hoping, sending it off to the treasury and just sitting back waiting for, yeah, they're going to confirm that they received it and say, hey, we received your information, but they're waiting on other stuff. They're not going to do anything with that. And I noticed that the people that purported to say what all of this stuff is going, they gone. They disappeared. And there's another group out there, they not making videos as much as they was a few months ago. Why? Because reality is starting to come out. Okay? So let's go to this. I'm gonna stick to a very simple form. 1099 MIC or in the 1099 NEC. I'm gonna stick to that. Because there's some eye-opening things here in this thing. See, I appreciate y'all in the beginning, but I do be giving y'all, I give y'all a good game. If you're paying attention, if you have the spiritual mind, you'll see what I'm about to show y'all. Here it is. This is right, irs.gov. I'm reading it. I'm just gonna read what they say. I'm not gonna make up anything, and I'm just gonna read what they say. Instructions for Form 1099 MISC, and 1099 NEC. The NEC is what the non-employee compensation form, which is formerly known as this 1099 miscellaneous. Okay. So it's basically future developments. For the latest information about developments related to 1099 forms, 1099 miscellaneous, and 1099 NEC, and their instructions, such as legislation acted after they were published, go to the IRS God form, blah blah blah, or IRS form 1099. What's new? Continuous use form and instructions, Form 1099 MISC, Form 1099 NEC, and these instructions have been converted from an annual revision to a continuous use. Both the forms and instructions will be updated as needed. So they're telling you they can be updated as needed. So you can go here, hit this little button, click one of these links, and it'll tell you. Basically, it's going to take me, it'll show you what the revisions are, and it's going to take me right back where I was, basically. Right? Um, It tells you what's new. Well, we're not going to read that. Reminders. Let's start there. General instructions. Let me make this bigger so y'all can see what this says. General instruction. In addition to these specific instructions, you should also use the 2020 general instructions for certain information returns. Remember, this 1099s are information returns. It just tells you what transaction took place, so that it connects your actual tax return that you must that go with it. So that's where it shows whether you're going to get a check or not. You owe or you don't, one or the other. Okay. All this nonsense about sign the back of a 1099. Nowhere in instructions are going to tell you to sign the back of a 1099. Who gave you? See, people come up, oh yeah, just sign the back and sign it diagonally. This fancy little way of doing it. Where you get this stuff from? Who told y'all to do it that way? Some guy who teaches that, but the IRS doesn't say that. Oh yeah, but do you know the IRS be hiding stuff? Let me tell y'all something. The IRS doesn't tell you everything, but they do lay out the rules very specifically in there. And if you read them and understand what's going on, it has some very enlightening information for you. Okay? It says Instructions for these general instructions include information about the following: who must file, when and where to file, electronic reporting, corrected and void returns, statements to receipt, recipients, taxpayer identification numbers, backup withholding, penalties, the definition of terms applicable for Chapter 4 purposes that are referenced in these instructions and other general topics. See, most people who jump on this bandwagon rather listen to the instructions of other people tell them how to use these forms than listen to what these forms say you need to do. The instructions of what this does. Listen, the people that are seeing success in my group, in my private group, are following these instructions. They're following the instructions. Okay? You get the general instructions from general instructions for certain information returns. So basically, you're saying for every return, there's a general instructions. All right? So here it is. Instructions for Form 1099 MISC, miscellaneous basically, and 1099 NEC, main content. Specific instructions for Form 1099 MIC. File Form 1099 miscellaneous income for each person in the course of your business to whom you have paid the following during the year. At least $10 in royalties, see the instructions for Box 2, or broker payments in lieu of dividends or tax-exempt interest, see the instructions for Box 8. At least $600 in rent. Box 1. How many of y'all paying rent? At least $600 in rent. Now, what they'll try to tell you, oh, you got to have a business to do that. But let me tell y'all something. You are a business. Because if you want to run around and say you're not that all caps, that's a business. Now, if you are listening to me, I tell y'all to structure it a certain way so that you don't have no problems with mixing that public thing with your private. Well, let me keep going. Prizes and awards, other income payments. Box 3. Generally, the cash paid from a notional principal contract to an individual partnership of the estate. Box 3. Any fishing boat proceeds, medical and health care payments. How many of y'all got that? Crop insurance proceeds, payments to an attorney. Section 409A deferrals, non-qualified deferred compensation. All right. You must also file Form 1099 miscellaneous for each person from whom you withheld any federal income tax report in Box 4 under the backup withholding rules. Right? Be sure to report each payment in the proper box because the IRS uses this information to determine whether the recipient has properly reported the payment. Trade or business, starting to get interesting. Trade or business reporting only, right? They're saying this is specific for trade or business reporting. Report on Form 1099 miscellaneous only when payments are made in the course of your trade or business. Personal payments are not reportable. You are engaged in a trade or a business if you operate for gain or profit. However, nonprofit organizations are considered to be engaged in trade or business and are subject to these reporting requirements. Oh. Nonprofit organizations are considered to be engaged in trade or business and are subject to these reporting requirements. So what it's saying is, remember I told you, nonprofit is a church, right? By definition, right? So if I'm a church and I'm paying someone as an employee in my church, I have to report that. Okay? Or if I pay for some work to get done, I'm tax exempt now. Somebody come in and do a whole makeover of the church. Or I go and purchase a vehicle for the church. And then I gave that dealership money. That's a 1099, y'all. Right? Well, let me read it again. However, nonprofit organizations are considered to be engaged in trade or business and are subject to these reporting requirements. So, as a nonprofit, as a tax exempt organization, I report payments that I make to people or entities. right? Other organizations subject to these reporting requirements include trust of qualified pensions or profit sharing plans of employees. Certain organizations exempt from tax under Section 501C or D, farmers cooperatives that are exempt from tax under Section 521 and widely held fixed investment trusts. Payments by federal, state, or local government agencies are also reportable. They're just saying report that. That's it. Some payments do not have to be reported on Form 1099 miscellaneous or MISC, although they may be taxable to the recipient. Payments for which a Form 1099 miscellaneous is not required include all of the following. So it's saying I don't have to do a 1099 in these circumstances. Generally, payments to a corporation included a limited liability company that is treated as a C or S corporation. However, C reportable payments to corporations later. So it's saying generally, if I make a payment, my church gives a payment to one of these types of entities, it's not required to report it. Uh-oh. Let me take that ban off so y'all can. Uh-oh. Oh, maybe I should just move my screen up. I don't want it like that. Uh-oh. I'm letting that sink in. Payments for merchandise, telegrams, telephone, freight, storage, and similar items. Payments of rent to real estate agents or property managers. However, the real estate agent or property manager must use Form 1099 miscellaneous and report the rent paid over the property owner to the property owner. Wages paid to employees. Military differential wage payments made to employees while they are on active duty, the armed forces, or other uniformed services. Business travel allowances paid to employees may be reportable on Form W-2. Cost of current life insurance protection. Pensions, annuities, retirement, profit sharing plans, IRAs. Insurance contract. Payments to tax exempt organizations, including tax exempt trust. IRAs, HSAs, Arch MSAs, Coverdell's, ESAs, ABLE, 529A accounts. The United States estate, the District of Columbia, U.S. possession, or a foreign government. Payments made to or for homeowners from the HFF Hardest Hit Fund or similar state program. Compensation for injuries for sickness. Department of Justice is Public Safety Office disabilities. 5 is benefits are under the state program that provides benefits for surviving dependents of public safety officer who has died as a direct and proximate result of personal injuries sustained in the line of duty. Compensation for wrongful incarceration for a criminal offense for which there was a conviction under federal state law. So if someone is wrongfully convicted and they get paid, they don't report that. They don't report that. Oh, let me go back. So let's see something. I'm trying to find something specific. All right. It's gonna open up for me. So I think you know what? I'm gonna stop right there. See, if you just read the instructions and and stop um allowing people to tell you what this stuff means, and you figure it out and you read it for yourself, you start to see some eye-opening things. That's just why I tell you people, never get rid of these personal accounts. What do you get? They don't give you any interest on them, and they try to charge you all these crazy fees. Business account only, trust account only, church accounts only, unincorporated association accounts only. Okay? All right. So there you have it. I read the instructions. That's just a 1099. NEC and MISC. The other ones, all of those are doable under the right circumstances. Goes why? Because a church does commerce. So if I have a church and I'm getting paid a regular paycheck, right? I got a job and I create my ministry and I just donate all of my money. All my paycheck is just automatically drafted into my church account that I'm running. I'm turning over all my I'm giving God my first seed, my first crops, my first harvest. See, the church got y'all to give us your harvest. Give it to me. No, give yourself the harvest through your ministry that you set up. Okay? Now you can receive all these tax benefits. And you take and say, hey, I gave this to the church. I did that. And you're paying all your bills out of your ministry account, out of your trust account. See, I learned that the hard way. I had a cell phone bill and I got audited. And and they wanted me to identify what calls was business and what wasn't. Why? Because the bill was in my personal name, my straw name. No, you can't write that. Because see, they didn't want me to treat the straw man as a business. They try to say, excuse me, it's not a business and it is a business. It's their business. They created that business. That social security number is there for them to do business with and profit off of it. But if I create my own and I divert everything that if I, I'm just talking to people who got jobs, divert all that money into my churches and have it take care of my ministry, have the money that I'm giving so that can further my ministry. What who can say anything to you? But what they say want me to itemize this bill. And I said, well, what if do I have to itemize if it was in a business name? She said, no. No. Long as it had the business name, long as that bill said the name of the business, there's no itemization necessary. Y'all think now, just think about it long and hard. Think about it. Some of y'all got multiple phones because you got children and all that. So if you just simply take those bills and put it in your business name, is all of it's a business expense. Every last one of them. Because the business is paying for it. Okay? You see? Well, it's 8:22. I gave y'all some game. I'll give the deeper game to my members. Now, y'all better show up to Monday's meeting. I got some information I'm really gonna drop. I'm not gonna forget. Y'all need to be there. I've been getting like, I don't know, close to 100 people, only like 20 people show up, less than that. So if y'all want this game that I'm about to drop on next Monday, y'all need to be there. All right, y'all. With that being said, let me see. Is anybody in the chat over there? Nope, nobody. Hey, I got the phone. They wanted when I didn't have the phone lines ready. People wanted to talk. Now I got it ready. Nobody wants to talk. All right. Well, peace, prosperity, extreme wealth. Somebody said, "Have I been hearing about the rescission of contract? It sounds just like a cause of satisfaction." I haven't heard about it. Probably will hear about it. People come out and start renaming stuff, repackages it so they can create new products. I haven't heard of it. Yeah, you can do a rescission on the contract, but you could do that, but the success rate of that is zero. Because y- you can rescind the contract, but you can't keep the property. Okay, that's what a lot of people don't get. Right? All right. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to everyone. Till next week or till the next time I broadcast. Peace.
I need a demons call when they do what they do. And now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through. Cause I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling. If it's controlling you, I know that time can heal it all. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get
Peace,
through.
peace, everybody. I was just sitting here thinking. I will probably get on in another couple of hours again. Something to leave me. I got more to talk about. So look for another broadcast today. Peace.
Not everyone in life has got a halo. I'm